Hey, it's Coach Reeves. Today we're going to talk about complex fractions. Don't let the title scare you. We're going to be fine. All it is a little bit of adding and subtracting and some more adding and subtracting, and we're going to throw in some division. We're going to take it with small steps at a time, and we're going to be fine. If you look at the problem as a whole, it could overwhelm you. Just try to take it in small steps, okay? So all we want you to do is we're going to ask you to focus on the top half, the numerator, okay? Look what we have. We're going to take care of that minus sign. We already have a common denominator of 3. So we can push this together, and we're going to have m squared minus m over 3. Now we're going to treat this fraction bar, as a giant division sign. So that means divided by m over 2. But we already know that we do not divide fractions. We change this to multiplication and we flip the second fraction. We multiply times the reciprocal. So what we're going to do is we're going to treat this as m squared minus m over 3 times, we're going to flip the second fraction, 2 over m. We have a common factor here, greatest common factor. We can take out an m. So we're going to ask you to factor out the m and then reduce. And we learned that when we multiply, we can reduce at an angle or diagonal, okay? The m's would cancel, and that would leave me with 2 times m minus 1 over 3. There's my answer. Again, just focus on one half at a time. Get a common denominator, and we're going to add or subtract. Take care of the denominator, and then we're going to multiply times the reciprocal. You can set up this, but you'll probably end up, you're going to get comfortable, you're going to skip this step and go straight to multiplying times the reciprocal. Okay? Let's try another problem. So we're going to focus on the top half. I have u plus 6. So I'm going to look for a common denominator so I can add these. I'm going to need a 9 outside the parentheses, but I'm also going to need the u plus 6. So I look at this first fraction. To make this to my common denominator, I have to multiply times 9. So I'll multiply the top times 9 and I get 81. To make this look like the common denominator, I multiply times u plus 6. So I'll multiply the top times u plus 6. And when I distribute, I get u squared plus 6u. There are no like terms to combine. So we're going to write this as u squared plus 6u plus 81 over 9 parentheses u plus 6. So we have added the top half of our complex fraction. Now look what we have at the bottom. At the bottom, all I have is u plus 6. So we're going to treat that as u plus 6 over 1. So remember, this is a giant division sign. So we're going to change it to multiplication, and we're going to flip the fraction. We're going to change it to multiplication, and we're going to flip this fraction of 1 over u plus 6. Now, unlike our first example, I don't have anything that can reduce, that can cancel. So I'm going to end up multiplying, and what I'm going to end up with the top in the numerator is u squared plus 6u plus 81 over, in the denominator, we're going to end up with 9u plus 6 squared. Now that all depends on how your teacher wants you to write your answer. Your teacher may ask you to go ahead and FOIL and then distribute that out to where you could end up with, say, maybe u squared plus 12u plus 36, and then your teacher may ask you to distribute the 9 throughout the problem. I'm okay with this. It all depends on what your teacher will ask you to do. Okay? All right, let's try another problem. All right, so look at the top. Only look at the top. Don't panic. Okay? I have a 3 and a 4, but what we're going to do is we're going to take care of that minus sign and distribute that negative and make that a plus. Okay? And so we're going to try to add that top fraction. I have a 3 and a 4. So my common denominator will be a 12. Tell you what, let's just don't look at that right now. We'll come back to that, so just don't look at that, so don't stress. Okay? So to get to a 12, I have to multiply times 4. So I'm going to have to multiply times 4. And when I distribute, I get 4x minus 16. To get to 12, I have to multiply times 3. We're going to multiply times 3. We're going to distribute it. 3 times negative x is a negative 3x. 3 times 4 is a 12. Now we combine like terms. When I combine like terms, 4 minus 3x is x. Negative 16, positive 12 is a negative 4 over 12. Okay? Okay, maybe not. Okay. I was going to sneeze. Okay, so now we're going to ask you to look at the denominator. We're going to try to get a common denominator here. And we're going to add, and we're going to say, I have a 4 and a 16. We're going to try to get this to 16 as my common denominator. So I would have to multiply this times 4 and this times 4, which gives me 4x squared. This is already 16. I do not have to change anything. That's going to give me x squared. And when I combine that, that's going to give me 5x squared over 16. Remember, this is a giant division sign, but we're not going to divide our fractions. We are going to multiply times the reciprocal. We're going to flip the second fraction, and this is going to be 16 over 5x squared. 4 goes in here 3 times. 4 goes in here 4 times. That will leave me with 4 times x minus 4 over 3 times 5, 15 x squared. I'm okay with that answer. Your teacher may want you to distribute the 4. Check with your teacher to see what they want. Okay? Here's the thing. Take it 1/2 at a time. Do your addition or subtraction. Do your addition or subtraction. And then change it to multiplication and flip the bottom fraction. Okay? Now, these may be a little scary at first. With a little bit of practice, I think you're going to be fine. Okay? Good luck.